back on Morning Scramble. I have with me Lois Cheney. She's a metaphysical minister, a certified clinical hypnotherapist, and also a spiritualist counselor and other things. Lois, nice to have you with us.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
You just touch on about everything.
Well, it does seem that way. And some of it kind of drifted into my life by accident, but I'm very happy with all of it.
Yes, well, obviously you have an aptitude for this kind of thing. And, you know, health, people are concerned with health, of course, and, you know, our little organic bodies, they just fall apart or they have illnesses or problems from time to time. You also do healing.
I do.
Different ways, though. You channel it. And what do you mean by channeling healing?
Well, you may notice that I'm not wearing any rings or bracelets, and the reason for that is that the energy I bring in comes out through my hands. And I just don't want anything to cut off that flow of energy. When I'm working on someone, I may feel hot spots or cold spots, and I can adjust their energy so they begin to feel better. A lot of people, however, really need to access their own joy because they get down into this hurts and that hurts, and it makes it worse. If you can get yourself uplifted most of the day, you begin to feel a lot better, and your body gets the idea. The subconscious, when it's happy, knows that the body can be well. It's kind of a
And there is
drift
that
over.
connection.
Yes.
I had a medical doctor tell me once. Of course, he was Robert Matthias, a great guy, lived here. He believed in 11 hugs a day for healing.
Yes.
But he said psychosomatic illness doesn't mean that it's in your head. It just means that your body and your mind have something to do with healing your physical body.
Oh, it's absolutely right. The more we get angry and tense, the worse our physical health is, not to mention the emotional and mental health. And that's why I use hypnosis with a lot of people, because if I can help them to access their subconscious, anything I feed into there, and we do agree on what they're looking for and what they want, but anything I can push into their subconscious becomes reality. The subconscious never argues. It just goes right ahead and fixes things, which is good.
Yes, as long as your subconscious is holding those tools and, like you say, the good things that will bring that into their lives. You know.
I find a lot of people are suffering from very low self-esteem. And that's another thing I like to work with in hypnosis, because it is so effective, and it's so much shorter than psychotherapy. You know, it doesn't take years. I always suggest people who are wanting to, well, control their weight. Why don't you let me work with you for 3 sessions? Because that number 3, it just seems like that makes it much more permanent, and they don't find themselves coming back for more work.
So if they like themselves, if people like themselves, they're going to heal better, they're going to overcome obstacles better as well.
It's that idea. You know, sometimes when we were little, we were told we weren't any good, or we shouldn't do this, or we shouldn't think that way. And that sticks. It sticks, unfortunately, has bad effects in our adulthood. So if we can go back and get that smoothed out, if we can begin to know that, yes, we're just exactly the way we need to be, we came in with the right creative talents, and we have ability. If we can get that across, a lot of things change for the better.
And with hypnosis, you can give those suggestions.
Oh, absolutely. We have a long conversation before I even start to put them into hypnosis, because I want to know what they're feeling now, what they want to accomplish. And, well, I'll tell you a short story. I had a lady come to me who said she was fat because of her addiction to chocolate. Now, I didn't quite believe that, but because she believed it, I said, I know what we're going to do. I'm going to tell you, when I get you into hypnosis, that every time you see something chocolate, you'll see this awful little gray stuff coming out of it, and you'll know not to eat it. Oh. And she agreed with that. She said, that'll be okay. So that's what I did. Now, I have to tell you, she had a very cooperative husband who really wanted her to lose weight, right? She comes back for session number 2, and she said, well, my husband brought home this big piece of chocolate cake from the office. You see how cooperative that is.
Maybe he didn't want her to lose weight.
And she said, I took one bite and it tasted terrible. And she said, I thought that wasn't right, so I tried it again. It tasted worse. She said, but I didn't see any gray smoke. And I said, but did you eat it? That's the point.
Yes, like it stopped this compulsion to eat chocolate.
It's just interesting how things work out.
Absolutely.
But I like to agree with people as to what they think they need, you know, and give them what they're looking for, obviously.
Sure, because people tend to know what they actually need when they're being honest with themselves and that kind of thing. So you've been doing hypnosis for how long?
I started about 10 years ago. I've been doing the psychic stuff forever and the healing, but the hypnosis kicked in, and when I found out how effective it was, you know, I made it a regular part.
Sure. Well, I think that's something that's been, you know, pretty well proven in many circles. Edgar Casey did a lot of healing through hypnosis, and he was recognized worldwide for his ability to.
And even in the last 5 years, it's become more prevalent with the medical community. They realize that our minds control so much.
Sure.
So if we can change what we think.
Absolutely. Well, you have other ways to heal people that are kind of interesting.
I do. I have a couple of sets of these things, and these are tuning forks. And the forks apply to each of the chakras. They're different. In other words, we have a middle C up to a high C of tones. When I have someone on my massage table, with clothes on, you know, it's not when I have someone on my massage table, I will take my pendulum, and I'll see how we're doing, and I'll go over their bodies, and usually I'll hit a dead spot. You know, not really literally dead, but I mean the energy will be great here and it's fine over there, but all of a sudden this chakra looks really like it needs help. So then I go back with the tuning forks. I make 3 passes over each of the 12 chakras, and that helps them to release some of the stuff that doesn't really belong there. They may have some erroneous ideas, or maybe they're angry about something, but it lets stuff come out. Yeah. Then I go back with these, and I have several of them. These are little mesh bags that contain various gemstones. I've got crystals, I've got amethyst, I've got carnelian, and I'll put those stones where they belong on the body, and I'll let that energy come into the chakras, and it amplifies. It makes them. Chakras need to spin, and they need to spin at a certain vibration, and they're all different. And so I want them to get organized, and I want them to start talking to each other. Okay. So.
And you know, and I have to say, it's because a lot of people are going to be going, oh, this is like crazy. But on the sound thing, if you've ever seen demonstrations of sound, they put sand underwater on plastic or paper or whatever. They play different sounds, different music, and it's the most bizarre thing you've ever seen. The sand organizes itself into complex geometric patterns.
I've watched that, yes.
So sound does reorganize matter. Bizarrely, don't ask me how it works. And then also, you know, we're made of the dust of the earth with minerals. We've got minerals that keep us alive and stuff. So it makes sense
98% water.
Yeah, and so, yes, there's that. And then the gemstone thing, I mean, that makes sense just because we are made of this earth. We are full of minerals and chemicals, just like these are.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, there's something interesting about that.
Yes, and after I've put those stones on them, I begin to do what I call color breathing, because each of the chakras also vibrates to a certain color. So they're lying there, and I'm huffing and puffing, and I'm telling them I'm going to put some brown to rich black color in your Earth Star chakra. And all I do is I'm mentally visualizing, and and then I put it in their aura out around their body. So theoretically, when we're through, they're a living rainbow of color. And that I had a gentleman who came to me a long time ago. He was on the massage table. His feet were hanging over about this far. But anyway, when I finished all of this, he got up and he said, "You know something? I have never before felt so comfortable in my own skin." And I thought, wait.
Is that kind of a balance thing?
It is a balance. It is. It's as if your emotions and your spirit and your mental can somehow start talking to each other more fluidly, so that decision making becomes easier, so that you aren't as vulnerable to everybody else's ideas. You have your own. You keep your own energy with you, and that's a big plus.
Well, now this is unusual kind of stuff. Do you feel like there's any harmful effects that
no.
could come from doing anything like this?
At the close of this, after I've let the client lie there for a while, maybe 10 minutes with the stones, because it takes a little while to soak in, I'll go back with this and see what we've accomplished, you know. And generally I'll find, oh, this thing will just very energetically. But once in a rare while, once in a very rare while, instead of going clockwise and showing me what we've accomplished, I'll have someone who wants to throw off everything, and it'll go counterclockwise.
Oh,
and I just think, okay, you know, I did what I needed to do.
Okay, and again, unless you think that's weird, there is something, and don't ask me what it is, but you can stick, this is weird, a needle with thread in the top of a pencil and do the same thing over a pulse point. I mean, seriously, I started out playing with it, but pretty much you can tell the sex of a child. It's like, because, you know, you say, is it going to be a girl? I mean, it will go the truth or dare, kind of the truth or fiction thing. It's bizarre. Don't ask me how it works, but I've seen it in action. Lois Cheney, thank you so much for joining us with some very interesting ideas about getting to feel better as a human being.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lois.